Hi dear Hodhod friends, how are you doing today? I hope you're all set for another story because today I have a great story about friendship. Now, do you have friends? Or do you have best friends? It's very important for us to have friends because people are always sociable and they cannot live their lives without friends. Do you trust your friends? What will happen if two friends lose the trust to each other? Well, follow me to this story and I will tell you what will happen. Today, our story's name is Andy and the Lion. Yes, you heard it right, the lion. That is an unlikely friendship. But follow me to this story and I will tell you how this friendship is made. Once upon a time, there was a slave in Rome. His name was Andy, and he was very poor. One day, he decided to run away from his bad master. His master was so cruel and made him do things from morning until night, and he didn't pay him much. He decided to run away at any expense. At night, he woke up. He crept to the alleys. They were dark, so no one could see him. He was ducking all the way so that nobody sees him. He was going through the fields and forests. When he got deep enough to the forest, he could stand finally. Now he was very hungry. He was searching for food and water. He could find a river. When he got a drink of water, he was hungry, so he had to find the food. He looked around. He couldn't find anything but berries and nuts. He was very hungry, and he didn't know how they could fill his stomach, but it was better than nothing. He ate the berries and the nuts, and now he was going to find a shelter. That night, he slept under a big tree. It was very cold, and it was very hard for him to sleep on the roots. One night, he found a cave. It was cold inside, but it was better than the outside. So he went there, he put some soft leaves on the ground, and he slept on them. He was sleeping for a while, and then he heard a roar. It was a lion. He was very afraid that the lion might eat him. Actually, that cave was the lion's house. The lion was out to gather some food, and he had hunted some little animals. The lion was on his way to go to his cave. In the entrance, his paw was hurt by the branches of the thorn tree. It was very painful, and the lion roared very loudly. Andy was very afraid. He went to the entrance and looked carefully. He saw the lion. It was rolling over with pain. He knew that the pain was so much. He wanted to help him, but he was afraid at the same time. He went near, step by step. What do you think that he would do? Well, stay with me and I will tell you. Welcome back. If you remember, Andy was so afraid of the lion, but he was gaining his courage and he was stepping toward him very carefully. The lion was just lying on the floor and he was in great pain, and he understood it. He rubbed his hand over Lion's shoulder and said, "I'm sorry, handsome lion. Don't be afraid. I'm gonna make the pain go away." So he took Lion's paw and he took the thorn out of his paw. The lion was very grateful. He rubbed his face to his shoulder so that he could show a sign of friendship, and their unlikely friendship was made. It was a beautiful friendship between a human and a beast. They were good friends, and the lion would always hunt for the man. He would hunt little rabbits and he would bring them to the man so that he could make dinner for himself. And he was so happy as well. They played all the time and they were living a good life with each other. They trusted each other as friends. Life was going on, and they were really happy. Andy was so happy that he was a free man. One day, he heard something. There was a noise. He thought it was the lion. He asked, "Lion, is that you?" But then he heard footsteps. Footsteps of men. They were soldiers. They were there to capture him because he was a runaway slave. At first, he didn't want to give up. He was fighting the soldiers. And finally, when he was captured, he said, "How did you find me?" They said, "We saw the smoke. We knew that there was someone in here who lit the fire." Suddenly, the lion came in. He wanted to protect his friend, but he was captured as well. They took them to Rome, and they wanted to put Andy in an arena. In those days, in Rome, when they wanted to punish a runaway slave, they would put them in arena and they would make them to fight the beasts. Andy was in prison for so long. And then one day, the door of the prison opened. They say, "We're ready for you." He went into the arena and saw a lot of people sitting in the arena and roaring. He knew that he had to fight the beast or he will die, but he didn't want to and he didn't know how to. There was some other rooms in the arena. The doors opened, the roaring went up and up. Andy saw the king and the queen in the audience. He was very afraid. He didn't know what to do until he saw the beast. It was the lion. It was his friend. Now, what would he do? Would he fight it and would he kill it? Or will the lion let him go? Now, you'll stay with me and I will tell you what will happen. Alright, my friends, if you remember, Andy was in the middle of the arena. He heard the roars going up and up. He saw the king and the queen waiting for him to fight. The fight that he didn't want to do. Why he didn't want to fight, you ask me? It was because he had to fight his friend, the lion that helped him while he was in the woods. He brought him food so he wouldn't starve to death. How could he fight him now? They looked at each other's eyes. They didn't know what to do. They looked at each other, surprised and frightened. They stepped towards each other closer and closer. Suddenly, the lion recognized Andy. He came close to Andy and rubbed his face to his shoulder. Everyone was surprised. They didn't know what was going on. They were there to see the fight between the human and the beast. But what they saw was a friendship between a human and a lion that will always kill the humans. People were roaring this time just because they were so surprised. The king and queen was so surprised as well. They looked at each other and the queen said, "We can't make them fight. They are friends. This would be cruel. And anyway, this is a very rare kind of friendship. It's between a human and a beast. We can't make them fight like that. The king thought for a moment, and he thought, okay, I will let them go. We don't want to see two friends fight each other like this. So, he freed Andy and the lion. Andy was so happy. He was finally a free man. After that day, he was so happy always and every time. He opened a little beautiful shop in the town, and he could make a living for himself without having a bad master above his head. Now, everyone, did you like this story? It was a story about friendship and trust, and I'm sure that Andy and the lion continued their friendship dearly. They were so good to each other, and remember, you should be good to your friends as well. Now, come back and I will tell you the moral of the story. Now, friendship is always based on trust. Do you have friends? Do you trust them? I know you do. Friends should be good to each other and should be caring. It's the most important thing in the friendship. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that a friend goes to the faith of his friend. So, you have to be careful who you choose. If your friends are good, you're gonna be a good person as well. And if your friends are not good, well, who knows? You have to be very careful. It's very important. People are sociable creatures, and they always want to have a friend. That's what the friends are for. Now, you guys are my best friends, and I'm very proud of you. And I know that you are always good to each other. Now, I will see you next time. Be here for another story in the Story Island. I will miss you so much. So be here next time. Bye-bye.